Naina doesn't know what's wrong with her leg. She only knows that when she tries to run, she falls down. She's 14 and suffers from polio. She lives in a home in Karachi, Pakistan. She says she can't run like the other kids, and she doesn't know why. There have long been vaccines for polio, and the procedure is simple, but the Taliban doesn't allow vaccination. The group considers it a devilish Western import, and they have a track record of killing aid workers who vaccinate children. This is Karachi. With a population of 20 million, it's the biggest city in Pakistan, and it's riddled with problems. In recent years, few children have been vaccinated against polio. People are just too scared. But we got a call telling us that vaccinations would proceed today. We hurry to the site, but when we get there, we only see women waiting. There are public employees, doctors, and nurses. By now, it's almost noon, and nothing has happened. Everything's ready, but the women aren't going anywhere. They just want to go a few hundred meters, but they won't move until the police come. They've been waiting for hours. How are they supposed to protect us, this doctor asks. We want to send out 12 teams, but they've only given us 4 policemen. If they can't protect us, we won't go. The head of the police patrol puts in an appearance. They negotiate over each individual policeman. The staff has no idea if it'll get away today. He says they're supposed to protect the teams. It wasn't necessary before, but now the situation is different. He brings in a real policeman who's heavily armed. A simple vaccination mission is starting to look like a military maneuver. The police explain that they're overwhelmed and understaffed. Karachi is full of crime, including frequent bombings and shootings. The negotiations are still going on, and there still aren't enough policemen. People who want to vaccinate their children do have the option of bringing their children to this health center. But parents are scared. The procedure must be done quickly so that no one else notices. It's just a few drops, not even an injection. Then the child is protected. This man says if his daughter contracted polio, it would destroy her life. That's why he's come to get her vaccinated. While the vaccinations take place, the police drive away. They're needed elsewhere. That wastes even more valuable time. Everyone else has to keep waiting. Finally, a new crew of policemen shows up. But they seem like they won't be much help in an emergency. They keep on talking. Eventually, the women set out a few hundred meters. But they're uneasy, and so are we. One of their colleagues was shot recently. That led to a suspension of the team's operations. But today, they're determined to put that behind them. This doctor explains that it's very dangerous. Earlier, they went into the streets without fear, but since their colleague was killed, it's become very difficult. Each of the helpers gets 250 rupees a day, about €1.70. That's the price of risking their lives. No one is here as a volunteer. The nurses are state employees. This is part of their job. I am afraid, says this nurse. I want to stay alive, but I'm more worried about my children. If the police say they don't want to do their work, she says, we'll lose our jobs. The police should at least ensure our safety. Today, we did our work, but next time, we refuse unless we have protection. Some people here consider the helpers to be Western spies. Others say the vaccines are impure. The doctor says she doesn't understand why they're targeted. She hears more and more of these attacks, but she can't make sense of why they happen. The residents of this neighborhood don't understand either. No one here has come out against vaccinations. It's really terrible, says this man. People should support the teams. They're trying to make a better future for the children. Vaccinations are necessary, and the youth of today are the future. 2 million children are supposed to be vaccinated in Karachi alone, but few people have the courage. These images are still just a few weeks old. All over the country, aid workers are being shot while on the job. At least 40 people have been killed since December 2012. One woman gets terribly upset when she sees our camera team. You journalists only film the filth, this woman yells at us. But you dare to come into our neighborhood. People get shot here, but no one does anything about it. She's right. The state is losing its grip on power, and not just in the tribal regions, but here in Karachi. The Taliban, criminal gangs, and political parties are all at war. Barely a day goes by without bombs exploding somewhere or people being murdered on the street, often for having the wrong opinions or simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. No one protected this woman's son. He was shot by the Taliban. Fahad was a member of a house-to-house vaccination team that often traveled without protection. On the day he died, the police didn't show up to escort his group. His mother says the government sends young people out, paying them pocket money to vaccinate children. She says she's not against the polio teams, but because of the risk, she was against her son's participation. Her son wasn't politically active, she goes on, and he certainly wasn't a spy for the West, says Fahad's father. I hear vaccinations are un-Islamic, he says. But is it Islamic to send out suicide bombers? They kill innocent people. Only God can give life and take it away, he says. The situation got more dangerous in 2011 when Osama bin Laden was killed in his house in Pakistan. A doctor disguised as a polio vaccine worker had been providing DNA material to track him. Ever since, anti-polio campaigns have been suspect. Pakistan is only one of 3 countries that have not stamped out polio. Now the numbers of victims are on the rise. There were nearly 100 cases last year, and the virus is spreading from Pakistan, leading to fears of outbreaks elsewhere. Dr. Mirza Ali Azhar says he shares those fears.
It's a dream that one day Pakistan becomes a polio-free country, as the other parts of the world. But it is, I think, this dream is not going to come true if the situation is allowed to persist, which is like that. The important thing is not to give only polio vaccine or drops to the mouths of the children. We have to spend a lot of time and energy and money in creating proper awareness into the general masses that vaccination is not against Islam, vaccination is not against religion.
पोलियो से मुतासरा बच्चे हमजा का बाप अकबर खान.
The government, celebrities, and the World Health Organization are trying to turn the tide of public opinion. There are advertisements that play all over the country, but the violence against vaccination workers continues. Even religious leaders don't seem to be able to influence opinion. One of them has repeatedly said that vaccine workers should not be killed. People say vaccinations are against Islam, says Mufti Naeem. They think the medicine kills people because it makes them impotent, but that's not true. They've researched the vaccine. It is safe. But he adds that aid organizations send young women in tight jeans and makeup. And people don't like that. They think the young women are spies from America or England. In Karachi, the aid workers wear burqas, not jeans. No one is spying here. But extremists are intent on keeping the fear alive. That means more and more children will suffer like Naina, and the ancient scourge of polio will continue to afflict Pakistan.